Hello everybody, we're the Geeks and Degenerates, and today, since we've been talking about, superheroes, and
This is a full-on 180 from what we filmed a couple of days ago.
yeah,
I am not used to it. Every time I see a superhero now, I was like, does he deserve it though? Does he? What would happen once he hits puberty? He's gonna question all of the things in the world.
well, maybe, he ends up like Mark or Superman instead of Homelander and Omni-Man.
You don't know that.
Only time will tell. Anyway, we're doing Sky High, the Disney original movie from 2005, and did you ever watch this as a kid?
Yes, yes, I did. I watched it when it newly came out, and I was like, surprisingly, okay. I didn't really notice it when I was a kid because I barely knew who Bruce Campbell was. I don't know who Kurt Russell was. I was like, nah, I don't know these people. I just know that that's the dad and that's the coach.
Hmm.
And as I grew up and started I started to watch more movies. I just found out like Joseph the Dreamer kind of like moment where you're like, holy shit, he was in that movie.
Yeah, right?
Like, what the fuck?
Yep.
But yeah, like a lot of the actors here, I was like, holy shit, they had a lot of budget for this film.
Yeah. Surprisingly, it still holds up today. You're like, I guess I watched this
Okay,
today and I really and enjoy this. But yeah,
yeah.
I also watched this as a kid. Like every time I would go to my neighbor's place and would show, we would watch it together because we really like superheroes,
Mm,
and like I was always into like Batman, and X Men because that's the only thing I knew back then. So I'm like, ooh, something I've never seen before. All right,
yeah. And
and
like, I think this was our first, without realizing it, it wasn't Scott Pilgrim. It was this movie where we first saw Mary Elizabeth Winstead, and we're like, oh, Ramona, and I'm like, like the whole world just goes in slow mo when we see her, even though it doesn't in the movie. We're like, damn, we all know that's our future crush.
yeah, yeah. But the story is Will, uh, what do you call him? Stronghold.
Stronghold.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Stronghold is going to school to become a superhero, and his parents are the greatest superhero duo the world has ever seen. They're basically Superman and Wonder Woman. If Superman couldn't fly, but Wonder Woman could really fly and has the same
I don't.
combat
I
skills.
Yeah, like I was gonna say, I don't think she was Wonder Woman. I think they were both Superman.
Oh, so like Superman and Supergirl.
Yeah, yeah. So it's like just two powers separated.
Hmm. But the big problem is he doesn't have his powers. He doesn't have them yet.
Hmm. Yeah. Like as with every what you call it. Uh, it's a pretty much lore in the world that like sometimes when two supers have a baby, sometimes it doesn't really work out that well.
Yeah, like
And
one
I know
detachment.
what I know. Yeah, I know what you're gonna say. Is the exact same concept as My Hero Academia. You know why I say it to that? You're right.
Yeah, including the school. Yeah, it's like,
The
well, to get
school, the
now, like,
bad guy, first years experiencing really big problems.
it's like when I'm watching it nowadays, I'm like, no wonder I like MHA so much. Because
Yeah, right?
this movie introduced the concept of like, hey, sometimes when you're the kid of a superhero, you have to go to school to learn what you are and who you are.
Hmm.
And just by
Hey,
the beginning, you see how star-studded everything is. You're like, that's Kurt Russell, and that's Bruce
nice, Kurt
Campbell.
Russell. Right? And I was like, holy shit. And sure, say what you will, but Mary Elizabeth Winstead wasn't so big back then.
Yeah,
Like, this is probably one of her first films.
I think
Correct me if
that's
I'm wrong.
one of the earliest moments where I'm like, I instantly have a crush on this person.
Yeah. And you gotta love it that Jim Rash and Tom Kenny's here.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Jim Rash is the dean from Community.
Mm.
Yeah,
Who's Tom Kenny again?
SpongeBob.
No, no, I mean, what character is he here?
He would. I think it was Chester, the guy who fainted when the school was like falling down on this house.
Oh, that's what it is.
Yeah, it was a little cameo. I don't know why they had I don't know why they had him there. So
Oh,
odd. Oh, Dave Foley's here.
yeah. And like, uh, during Jim's class, they're divided into like heroes or sidekicks,
Mm.
and like uh, Will is with his friends, and his best friend who obviously has a crush on him. Like I feel like they all end up together. I just don't know how.
Ah, yeah. And what else was Daniela Panabaker like in? I guess her face is very familiar. Like I could have
She's in the
sworn.
Flash.
There we go.
She's
Yeah.
she's Killer Frost.
I mean, yeah. See, look at that. She's in love with a lot of supers.
Yeah, yeah. And like, depending on your power, you're either a sidekick or superheroes. Because one person can just melt, and that's it. You're like, Bruce Campbell's like, nope, you're a sidekick.
Yeah. Again, I am still a little bit culture shocked because I am not used to like, you know what? They're all in this room and none of them has decapitated or blown up anybody. Well, I feel like the two students were like at the front of the school who got frozen because they
Are
touched the
dead
girl's.
forever.
Yeah, who like laser beamed the girl's butt.
Yeah.
For sure, they're permanently they're dead.
Yeah. Like maybe they would have been fine the first week, but like by the second, like no, they're gone, man.
Yeah. And I don't know. I love the concept. Yes, they are pretty much. Humor here is a little bit like adult. Now
Yeah.
that I rewatched it recently, where Daniela Panabaker's character is like, "Oh, they're separating us from peers from sidekicks. Sounds fascist." I'm like, I just got that now. I was like, "Oh, that was pretty good."
Like one of Will's companions can turn into guinea pig, and then the coach is like, nope. And then when Will comes up, he's like, stop playing with me, man. I know you can lift heavy things.
Yeah. And they pretty much drop a car on him. But there's a thing about Will. What's the name again?
Stronghold.
Stronghold. I was gonna go with Armstrong.
The
That's
thing
the
about Will is that he cheats in the Olympics. Like, oh, sure.
Yeah, Will Stronghold is kind of that like kid who was like has really smart parents, and now you expect the world from him because he came from these two great people.
Yeah.
And like, well, yeah, for sure, that's relatable in the sense. And like, everybody kind of looks up to him already, even though they don't know what his powers are. Like, even the bus driver's like, oh, that's Stronghold's kid, so we gotta give him respect. And so is everybody in the school.
It's like he was the kid of All Might almost.
Yes, pretty much. This is this is Deku. This is actually Deku without eating the hair.
That's the whitewash Deku.
Yeah. Again, I really do want to see a superhero show or film where this kid comes from two great superhero parents, but has no powers at all and doesn't gain powers at all, but yet like Batman his way through the superhero world. I want to see that.
Like I love Will. What do you call it? Kurt Russell's character's reaction when he finds out, like, oh, the coaches says you have no powers. Like, what? A fucking hack. He's always jealous.
You gotta love how they adapt to regular life because he knows that he's gonna break a phone, so he has like a whole drawer of phones. I was like, again, this is really good humor. I was like, man, this all flew over my head when I was a kid.
Right?
I was like, sure, it's very simple humor, but at the same time, it's very clever. This is an oddly high budgeted film for a Disney movie. Is it a Disney movie?
I mean, for fuck's sake, they got Linda Carter to be the principal. As a kid, I'm like, who's that? Now I'm like, oh shit, that's Linda Carter.
Right? So I was like, what the fuck? There's a star-studded cast, and I was like,
Yeah.
Jesus. And they got the voice actor of Bleakley to play as like the scientist guy.
Oh, that's him. That's why he's
familiar. Yeah. Wait, hold on. I was looking out. Yeah, Kevin McDonald. I remember I mentioned his name in our Stitch review.
Yeah.
But yeah, like again, these are really popular people back in the day. And I was like, this is surprising for a Disney movie because nowadays Disney movies are kind of shit. No offense to anybody who likes Disney movies, but they are.
Yeah, there's not a lot of quality original Disney movies live action. Anyway, because
Yeah.
you feel like those are really for kids. Except I hear the Descendants is good, and so is Teen Beach movie, but I haven't checked those out, so I wouldn't know.
Yeah, but this didn't have that kind of charm.
Yeah, yeah,
Where
yeah. Where it's
and
like
yeah,
a totally original idea that is an underrated hit, but is still beloved.
yeah. Well, to our viewers who might have been born before this movie,
Yeah.
sorry, after this movie, probably would think like, no, we've seen this plot before. Yes, but we haven't when we
Yeah.
were that age.
Yeah, in 2005, what did we have? We had Batman Begins. We still had the X Men was still good, and so was Spider Man, but that's about it.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's-
a high school. Besides X Men, like a high school for supers where it's kind of accessible and they're not orphans.
yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
But yeah,
Alright,
going back to the main subject, like eventually Will does discover his powers because the bullies trip him up, and he crashes into War and Peace. Who-
sorry, AKA Bakugo.
Yeah, yeah, I was gonna say. Bakugo with like Todoroki's powers, or one half of his powers.
Also, you gotta give them credit for that name. Really? War and Peace? That's sick! That's a fucking sick name!
And then he has beef with Will because his father put him in jail.
Put his father in jail.
Yeah, put Warren's father in jail, and they have this cool fight where Will discovers he has super strength.
Yeah. And this was a really good fight, and I will say the build up to it was pretty cool as well, where they pretty much have a whole montage of them working in hero support. Hero support, aka sidekick class.
Yeah.
So everybody in their group pretty much got put into sidekick.
It's that arc from
Category.
MHA, where you have to
Exactly.
work with a hero.
Yeah, right.
Oh, very
It's,
different. very
it's the
different.
OJT arc.
Uh,
but like yeah, so they have to pretty much learn all these basic stuff that hey, a lot of the times when obviously you could do it yourself, you kind of have to let the hero do it. Like, oh, if you have the crossbow, you got to give it to the hero because you are hero support, which kind of sucks. It's a sucky concept, in my opinion.
and then I felt bad for the teacher because he learned that he's the Robin to the Superman, essentially.
The Jimmy to his Superman.
Yeah.
And
He's
like he was kind of forgotten,
Yeah.
kind of like in the real world.
Yeah, he used to work with the commander, that's his name.
There.
And then he's like, your father never. Okay.
Yeah, and they have pretty much like this Snape and the mom of Harry Potter arc.
I mean, yeah, thank God he didn't turn into Syndrome, right?
Yeah.
I do like the civilian rescue PE class where the scientist is like, back in our day, we used real civilians. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, but you're
was like-
fucking right.
I thought that right. But you was fucking right.
Fucking Siouxs and their fucking abuse.
Call Billy.
But
No,
like,
but like, yeah, like I do like that because the build up to that was that Warren and Will are pretty much Bakugo and Midoriya. They do not like each other. Well, Midoriya likes Bakugo. Bakugo doesn't.
it's Bakugo and Midoriya minus the verbal abuse of Bakugo.
I would say there's verbal abuse. More of like the yaoi, the yaoi feel of the anime.
Yeah.
None of those. But yeah, like they pretty much hate each other, and then the bullies, who is Smash Mouth and All American Rejects. Sorry, they do look like him. They pretty much put them in the same team
Yeah.
because they know that they're not going to work together.
Yeah.
And I'll say that was a pretty smart idea.
Yeah.
And as you go through it, yes, they overcome. There are moments. It's actually a pretty cool scene.
Like though
I don't
when they said real civilians and you see the death drop, you're like, yeah, Butcher is right because that's a horrible way to go.
Exactly.
Like,
And they just laugh. They just laugh it off, and I'm like, God, these are gods amongst men.
uh, but yeah, I before that I do love uh, the commander's reaction to like Will getting powers because at first you think he's in trouble because his mom is very angry, but once they're in the uh, sanctorum, he's like, hey,
You mean Sanctum?
sorry, sanctum. Confusing with
Sanctor.
superheroes.
Yeah, that's Doctor Strange.
Yeah,
No,
sanctum.
but to be honest, I would be the same dad. I'll be that dad. I'm sorry.
Just tell your mom I took away your Xbox. I don't have an Xbox though.
I was like, PS5. No, I'm not
Uh,
having a kid yet.
Not yet. Gone.
Not that I know of.
Yeah. I'm kidding. Don't die, panic. But yeah, but because he has superpowers now, he's assigned to where the heroes are, and that's where he has
Hmm.
to be with Gwen Grayson. Interesting combination of names. Thinking about it,
Right, right. What was her name again? Something Grayson.
yeah,
Um,
Gwen.
Gwen Grayson. I was like, that's actually a very good superhero name.
Yeah, yeah.
I was like, as a mixture of names. Yes, you could say Dick Grayson and Gwen Stacy from Spider-Man,
Yeah.
but it is pretty. Again, I just can't get over the fact that Mary Elizabeth Winstead
Right?
here. I'm like, I'm like, damn. I was like,
Like,
you too cute. You too cute.
it's like, as a kid, I'm like, wow, she's very pretty, and I have a crush. Now I'm just like, wow, she's very pretty.
Dude,
I have a crush.
I have a crush again.
Yeah.
Dude, like, I swear. Like, you know she's the bad guy. If you haven't watched the movie, what the fuck's wrong with you? It's from 2005.
Yeah. Then
Um,
again, it's very underrated, but still, it's been how many years?
yeah. So, this is a spoiler, by the way.
Yeah.
Mary Elizabeth Winstead is the bad guy. But we all know that, and yet we're still like,
Please be my lab partner.
yeah, I'm like, oh, she's old? More, more than better. They're like, oh, it's better. There we go. More than many, or I don't know why I was going to say that. But I was like, hey, that's better. She's older.
But yeah, unfortunately, that draws conflict with his old friends because he literally like, you can't sit with us.
Right, right. Like, she is the popular kids, and he starts to get popular. Once he got the powers, he got moved from hero support to hero class, and I'm like, yeah, seems about right.
Yeah, and then he does promise Layla, that's right, Layla to take out the Chinese, but that never happens because Gwen is in his house and she's like trying to win over the parents.
Man, I'm sorry. If Mary Elizabeth Winstead was like, hey, can I have dinner at your place? And I have, like, probably a hangout with a friend girl who probably might have a crush on me. I'm sorry. That's Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
I mean, we're not saying that Daniel Baker is not, attractive. She is very attractive.
Yeah, but
Among the two. Yeah.
yeah, for a personal opinion, we kind of like it's Ramona Flowers.
Yeah. I like Killer Frost, but Ramona's like at another level.
Yeah, but both women are gorgeous though. So
Yeah.
just let that clear.
I do like the fact that after she stood up, War and Peace uh, bonds with her, and she kind of makes him like, "Oh, to get Will jealous, I'll ask you to the prom or homecoming."
Yeah, yeah. So they kind of no. Was this? He kind of sits her down. And he's like, "Hey, before it's too late, might as well ask him out already.
Hmm.
Like, ask him out to the prom, and pretty much confess your feelings before it's too late." Because he reads that fortune cookie thingy.
Yeah.
And as soon as she does, Will pretty much breaks the news to her that he's actually going with Gwen. And I'm like, yeah, you too slow.
Yeah.
And
Oh.
then that's when she formulates a plan to, like, oh, I'll just go with War and Peace
Yeah.
just to make him jealous. But you could see, like, Warren's kind of like, you're too close. And I don't know, I like War and Peace's, like, character.
Yeah. I should mention that Gwen invited the Strongholds because that's part of her plan to get them into homecoming so she can uh, turn them into babies. I mean,
Yeah.
we're Disney for fuck's sake. We don't kill them with lasers. Not yet, at
No, but
least.
not gonna lie, that's pretty smart though.
Mm-hmm.
Like, make all the superheroes into babies, raise them in like this little X-Men orphanage place you have, and then you could make them all into villains that could work for you.
Yeah.
Imagine if Professor X did that right off the bat. How fucked would the world be? How happy would Magneto be that it's run by mutants?
Right. Um, but like, to be honest, even though in the house party Will has, because of Gwen, when Gwen tells Layla like, oh, he likes me better than you, and he doesn't want to, deal with the sidekicks anymore.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
And she's
you
pretty
are a
much saying,
fish, but goddamn, I was still having this date.
I was like, huh? Right, plot. Sorry, my bad.
But yeah, she goes off, and at the same time, Will tells everybody to leave when his parents arrive because they're like, "Oh, you're having a party when we're away. How could?"
We were in Europe for 2 hours.
you?"
How could you? But yeah, and like, this is the point where Will kind of was like, okay, maybe the crowd I'm going with is not the right crowd. I want my friends back. But too much shit has happened, and he doesn't know what to do, and he doesn't have power over it, no matter how strong he is. That he's like, I'm gonna skip out on prom. You guys can go. I'm staying.
Yeah.
And what we didn't know is that he kind of brought Gwen down to the sanctum for some normal time, and then somebody stole the pacifier thing.
Yeah. And it's when after his parents leave, he realizes like, the girl in the photo yearbook really looks like Gwen. For some
Like, it really looks very familiar.
Yeah.
And then he was like, oh, fuck. Looks, and then the pacifier's gone. And he was like, okay, I gotta go.
Yeah.
And thank God he's, in close contacts with Ron Wilson,
Yeah.
bus driver. And they make it to the party. And this is the point where Gwen reveals that she's actually Royal Pain? What was it?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, Royal Pain, yeah.
That
And
she's
then
not just the daughter, that she is Royal Pain, because I guess the pacifier was used against her. She had to go through puberty all over again. But yeah, she starts enacting her plan and turns the strong ones into babies and the rest of the group.
She starts turning the superheroes into babies and starts enacting her plan. And yes, Enzo is correct.
I mean, be more uncomfortable if she was actually executing them. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I think this movie would have not aged so well if that was the case.
Also, that took me such a long while. Of course, I didn't get it as a kid, but when she strangles her henchman, he starts going, uncle, uncle. I'm like,
Uncle.
Why does he keep saying that? Now I'm like, oh, that's a safe word.
Yeah, no, it's not. Yeah, but like, I love Jim Rash here so much because like every time he would like and then she would like grab his hand and choke him out. And I'm like, I don't know. I found those scenes so funny because I keep going back to Community. How good he was there. God, I want to see more of Jim Rash in comedy skits.
But yeah, Will makes it on time, and he's reunited with his old crew, and they're like, we get it. You're sorry for being a jerk. So the sidekicks take out the sidekicks of Ramona Flowers, and Will goes off to confront her.
Yeah. And I would say, I don't know, what would you rate this fight? Like, as a Disney movie.
For what it is, I like it. Like, though the wire works is like too obvious at times. You're like, it's fine,
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah, but like them like pretty much grabbing the leg and like smacking them towards a pillar, them going through walls and shit. I was like, this is really good. Nowadays, Disney movies would just use CGI. They won't even use like they won't even like destroy a building from here to there. Here,
Honestly,
walls were going down.
I like this fight more than a lot of modern comic book movies. Thinking about
Okay.
it.
You know what I'm gonna say now? I like this fight the fights in this movie more than the last fight in Birds of Prey.
I like this
Yeah.
fight more than honestly Black Widow because I can see what the fuck's happening.
I'm trying to remember the fight that I can't.
I like this more than a lot of fights, to be honest.
Yeah, it's like a lot of the times, a lot of movies have very shit cheesy fight.
Yeah.
But I say it's better than Morbius. Yeah, yeah,
Other than
it is.
Morbius, Venom, and Venom 2 combined, definitely.
Oddly enough, because it's coherent, you can actually see it.
Yeah. I don't know what the budget of this was, but like, he did a damn good job.
Right? It's not Man of Steel. We get it,
Yeah.
but like them going through walls, choreography was there for a kids movie.
Yeah.
For what it is, it's really good. When Warren was fighting Will, that was a good fight as well.
Yeah.
Like they go through, what was it, the principal's office?
Yeah.
I was like, that was sick.
Unlike we learned that, Lynn is basically Poison Ivy. Because she traps the cheerleaders and it's from them. She's like, wait, you can't leave us to die because Gwen disabled one of the anti-gravity things.
This is Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
This is the plot of Age of Ultron. Wait a minute! I'm just noticing now. Marvel ripping off Disney.
Nah,
Actually,
well, it's fine.
yeah, because they own them.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, the school does turn into Sokovia for a bit.
Instead of a state, it's just a high school.
Yeah, yeah. Minus the aftermath, Baron Zemo. Like, oh god, what have we unleashed?
I would say Royal Pain might be Zemo here.
I had to go to puberty twice. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is a satisfying conclusion. Like, I don't know why I lose it when the gerbil keeps chewing the wire frantically. You're like,
Because it's a puppet. I don't know if you notice it, like it's holding the two wires. It's like, ah. I was like, oh, that's ugly.
and then Gwen does kick Will out of a window, and then we find out, oh shit, he has his mom's powers too, because he can fly.
Yeah. So all he's missing is freeze breath, super hearing, and laser eyes.
Yeah.
And yeah,
To be
he's
fair,
Superman.
Yeah, no, well, none of them have those, so yeah. But yeah, they almost crash into SpongeBob's house, and he faints. SpongeBob, Tom Kenny, faints because of that, and it's also like, oh no, Gary or some, I don't know what his name is in this.
And I was like, Chester,
Yeah.
Chester. I was like, wait a minute, that's Tom Kenny. That's my childhood. God, that's a bucket list for me. I would love to meet Tom Kenny. Tom Kenny, if ever you watch Geeks and Champions, please let me know.
Yeah,
Would you allow me to call you Tom?
It seemed really cool, and as Jomer said, you made up a lot of our childhood. But yeah, the day is saved, and the adults are turned back into adults.
Yes. It is a very wishy-washy kind of ending, I would say. Because the Medulla, Mr. Medulla, even though he is a baby, he is still very smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they do get to reverse the pacifier. They pretty much save the day. Again, very wishy-washy, I will say, but it's a kids' movie. Nothing is really at stake. Well, besides, again, mini Sokovia.
Yeah.
But yeah,
from that height, I doubt it will do a lot of damage.
Oh, for sure. It might have been, I don't know, a couple of blocks gone.
Yeah.
A couple of kilometers annihilated.
Yeah.
A mini earthquake.
But yeah, they save, and as Will says in the end, my girlfriend became my arch enemy, my arch enemy became my best friend, and my best friend
became my girlfriend.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's kind of nice to hear, that the fact that him and War and Peace became best friends. I was like, I really do want to see Bakugo and Midoriya get along.
Same.
I want them to have like a separate movie where they're in an island and they have to share powers together. and defeat the really big baddie.
Yeah.
If you all don't know the plot, watch some anime, you fools.
I mean, question is, who does Bakugo, Midori end up with?
Sorry.
Who does Midoriya end up with to make this connection even more relevant?
I don't know where you're going with this one.
Fine.
I don't know. Are you team Ochaka or team Baku?
Ochaka.
Okay. See, everybody is Bandila. Okay, I'm kidding. I'm also team Ochaka, so.
But yeah, what would you rate this movie?
Okay. I know people are gonna get mad because I gave Thor: Love and Thunder a 5. But this movie, as a kid's movie, watching it today as an adult, it will surprise you on how good it is. I'm very surprised. I'm not giving it a 10. Don't worry. It's not the perfect movie. It's not the best superhero movie out there. But this is the best thing we had back in the day in 2005. Sure, you could say that Batman was a thing, but we were kind of too young to understand the concept of Christopher Nolan.
Yeah.
This is like our MCU back in 2005 when I was 6 years old.
Yeah, I mean.
So,
V for Vendetta also came out that year, but of course we were way too young to understand what the fuck that meant.
yeah, and you could say Blade and the Hulk was out. Again, it is not a bunch of superheroes working together to fight a bigger evil. And like seeing, oh shit, that's a Superman, that's a Flash, that's I don't know, Human Torch. All coming together in one place and at a place where we all relate to, which is school. That's a really cool concept. Again, yes, you've heard it before if you've been born after this time, but this was very new to us. So I'm giving it a 7.
Yeah, I'll also give this a 7. It's a really good time. I can rewatch this a lot of times, and I have gone back to rewatch this because it's a very enjoyable movie and it's a fun time. Like, is everything so Christopher Nolan-esque deep? No, not really. It's just a high school adventure with superheroes. It's literally like an hour and 29 minutes of MHA, just whitewashed and live action. Yeah.
Forget. It was 2005.
Yeah. Which is fine because MHA wasn't a thing back then. But yeah, it's a Disney thing. And I really like this movie. And this is really a nice change of pace from what we talked about.
You know what? At some points, I can go through my day without thinking of blood and guts.
Yeah, same here. But yeah, 7 out of 10 from both of us. But that has been our video on Sky High. What do you guys think? Comment below. What's your favorite live action Disney movie? Original Disney movie? Comment below, whether that be High School Musical or Teen Beach Movie. Whatever it is, tell us. But if you want to find us, you can find us at what? What?
You didn't Teen Beach? Okay, you like one.
I hear good things about it. What? But if you want to find us anywhere on the internet that's not YouTube, you can find us at Facebook at facebook.com. That's Geeks and Degenerates Reaction Trailers. We stream video games and about our lives from time to time. If you want to hear us on the road, we have a Spotify podcast. And for YouTube, please remember to like, subscribe, and ding the bell icon to get notified of when we upload next. Individually, you can find me at Gandalfus1995 on IG and Twitter. How about you?
Oh, you can find me at John G and on Instagram. It is my art now.
Yeah, and we are not done with superheroes yet because there's one more Marvel-esque show we have to talk about. So, look forward to that.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh fuck, I'm not yet finished with it. Give me a second.
That's fine.
End it there.
Stay safe, wear a mask, social distance, and get a vaccine if you can. Get your booster for fuck's sake. And for this video, that's all the time we have. We'll see you in the next one. Bye, everybody.
Yeah.